Okay, give me an audio check, Mr. Lowry.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Sounds good to me. Let's do a countdown. Folks, we'll be right back in 1 minute. That gives you time to go pop some popcorn real quick and grab a guest. Well, hello there again, Mr. Duke Lowry.
Hello there, Rex Moncrief.
I gotta ask you, are you like auditioning for an Invisible Man part, or what's going on with the head there, dude?
Well, tonight we've got something special for everybody watching, and we know there's been a lot of excitement about this show, but this is the mystery hat.
Ah, the mystery hat. We should like have a coffee cup made and give away a coffee cup if somebody can figure out the mystery hat.
You watch the hat and you figure out what it says.
Hey, that's a nice mountain behind you too, by the way, so, you know.
Man, I love the mountains. I'd give anything to be up there. They got like 5 inches yesterday, and I could be doing it to it.
Oh, I thought that might be a preview of us starting like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week, you know, based on what the weathermen are predicting. It's supposed to be a little chilly around here.
It may be. So, somebody said something to me, and I said, yeah, word is that the parish administrations are looking at putting in a ski lift out at Cypress lift ticket. No, wrong place. I mean, Bodcall. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, Bodcall's got the hill out there they could actually ski down. Cypress just has, well, nothing. So,
well, that's what those excavators are for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Move the earth around. Okay, so, I want to clear up one thing as we start going through the show tonight, and that would be this. I understand there has been some. Yeah, you've got a red. I've got blue. Apparently, you're wearing got the conservative color, and well, apparently I'm not. I would like to share what is in the mystery cup. What do you think it is?
The old mystery cup.
Yes.
Knowing you, I think I would have to say that it's somewhere between your unsweet tea and coffee.
I know. Very sweet tea, by the way. Very good sweet
really?
tea
You're a
that my wife
guy.
makes. Yeah, exactly. I even use Humminbird electronics on my boat. But in all seriousness, so there's some question about that. And the truth is, if we had been doing the show a few years ago, this would absolutely be a Crown and Mountain Dew. But if I drink Crown and Mountain Dew, I get 7 foot tall and bulletproof, and you know as well as I do, I'm nowhere near 7 foot tall, so no telling what I would say if I went beyond sweet tea in my cup.
Well, I had no doubt. But as someone said, one of our viewers was inquisitive about what exactly are y'all having in those drinks. It's got to be alcohol related.
Yeah, well, and look, Brother Ed Gonzalez says, hey guys, Gina's tea is yummy. And I have to put this one up here. Heath Harvey says, real men drink, during unsweet, I assume you mean drink. Heath, let me just get this clear. Any real guy below the Mason-Dixon line is going to drink sweet tea if he's from the South, buddy. Sorry to inform you of that. Okay.
I don't want to argue about that all night, so I'm going to let that one go.
Let's get to the politics.
Politics?
Yes.
Woo!
Well, I mean, we've had lots of drama, including just in the last couple of hours.
You got to hang on a second. I'm getting a little hot and bothered just even thinking about it.
Well,
I mean, Give me a second. I got to take this off. I'm starting to
Uh-oh,
sweat.
here we go. Cue the music, get out the poll. Everybody
I
get their
gotta
dollar,
take this
everybody get their dollar
mystery
bills
hat's got
ready.
to come off. And, I mean, I got to, that gummit, it's just smoking hot in here. And I
Bill
mean,
Cassidy.
that gummit I'm talking about, got to, whew,
Oh, you better watch out, Duke. Wearing that
yeah.
shirt, you might have to put up security cameras around your house and lighting and all that to protect yourself.
Heck, I might get death threats like back in last time I ran for office at one time or another. And
Oh, that's right. You had like the entire Arab world wanting to come after you or something, if I remember correctly. It's been a while back.
I was on BBC, Al Jazeera. I'm talking about I was everywhere.
Really? Oh, I
And
remember that.
I wasn't even running against a Democrat.
You're running against another Republican, as best I remember.
I mean, good gracious.
And the funny thing is, I don't remember, any Republicans coming out to defend you, but fast forward to the Trump era, and it's okay to do flight restrictions and country restrictions and all that, but when, poor Duke Lowry's down here trying to run a decent local campaign around Bossier Parish, he gets tagged as anti-Muslim and the whole 9 yards, and I don't know, maybe you made fun of Muhammad. I don't know I can't remember what all you did, but it seems like I don't remember any Republicans trying to help you out.
No, they didn't. They didn't. Anyway, but I hate the subject of the story. We're not going to talk about me. There's so many other people to talk about.
Well, okay. So let me share my screen here for a second. Let's see if I can do this right this evening. Okay, so some of you may have noticed that we have a post up on the page that was to help tease up this show. And you'll see I've got several pictures of Bill Cassidy. He's the Republican in the crosshairs for the day for everybody. And, I've got one here. This is from, actually, I know it says 10 hours ago, folks, but this was from several years ago. I don't know, as best I can remember, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. And look here, the Bossier Republicans, the Republican PEC, endorsed Bill Cassidy for U.S. Senate. And you even put up a comment and said, on behalf of Ann, that would be Miss Ann Price, Mike Collier, who was chairman.
You got to scroll it up there. We need to see it.
Yeah, all right, let me see if I can get this going. Let me get this out of the way. There we go. I know it's a little dimmed out, folks, but this is an old post. So down here at the bottom in this red box, Duke, you had posted on behalf of Ann, Mike Collier, who was chairman of the PEC at that time, if I remember right, and myself, being you, we appreciate you and Richard joining us in support of endorsing Dr. Cassidy for U.S. Senate. Thank you. So, sounds to me like the Republican PEC, the Executive Committee for Bossier Parish, actually endorsed Dr. Bill Cassidy for Senate. Is that correct?
Yeah, we did. And, I think he won, which means he got a majority of the voters in Louisiana.
Right.
And if I recall correctly, this election, he got a supermajority.
I believe you are correct. Now, let me see if I can close this. And, folks, we'll get to the point of this here in a second, I assure you. So, here's the next picture. Well, look, it's let's see, I got me in the way. Let me move me out of the way. So, look, it's even our own U.S. Representative Mike Johnson in the House in 2016 being grateful for having the support of U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy.
There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we even seen Donald Trump endorsed Mike Johnson.
Sure. And look, Cassidy even endorsed our current state senator, Robert Mills. I mean, so, it's not like, well, here's the point, folks, or here's what I'm driving at. It's this thing that we have of what we call cancel culture. And so Cassidy is in the hot seat, and I agree, he's in the hot seat for a very valid reason. But the challenge is that it seems like a lot of people try to distance themselves or they forget the past or whatever because they may have supported Cassidy. So right now, while everybody has their pitchforks and torches out for Cassidy, a lot of people are trying to distance themselves from him.
And that is the problem, in my opinion. I mean, look, when people run for office, we make the best decision about the information that we have about those folks. And that's something that we've been railing about for a long time. And recently myself at the Bossier Parish Republican Executive Committee, I've really been railing about it, that we need to start holding people accountable. We need to know more about the people running for office. We need to know that they have a history that supports the verbal arguments that they make for their case to be elected to any office.
Oh, yeah, and of course I agree 1,000% with that. And let me give everybody my perspective on where Cassidy was absolutely incorrect and wrong in his vote yesterday. Let's take the Democratic Republican side out of it. His argument or his agreement with the Democrats and the liberal side, and I think 9 other Republicans or whatever it was, is that, well, if hypothetically, if Trump or any president had led an actual coup, that means where they kill people, okay, to try to take over the government and use usually parts of the military to do that, which of course none of that happened in the recent case, but let's assume that a president did that. And then he chose to resign, then the House couldn't impeach and the Senate couldn't vote to convict. If we follow the Constitution, which says the president, all right? The president leaves office, we might refer to him as, President Reagan or President Bush. It's really former president, technically, all right? But here's the thing. It may be true that they couldn't impeach him then because he then becomes a private citizen if he resigns. But I can assure you if that happened, he would be tried, by the Department of Justice as a traitor for treason and potentially executed. I wouldn't care at that point whether Congress had the ability to impeach him, whether it's Trump or any president. So I disagree with Cassidy's vote yesterday just based on that, actually based on the Constitution. Cassidy's been led down the wrong path by the Democrats and some of his fellow Republicans that are in the Senate. So I completely disagree with him, but it's back to the cancel culture deal. If somebody makes a mistake, or we support somebody who makes a mistake, and they own up to it, or whatever the scenario is, or he sticks to his guns, does that mean that all of a sudden we get an eraser out and do the cancel culture and just erase history? Like the guy never existed and, oh no, I never took a picture with him. Is that what we're here to do? Is that what our Republicans are here to do?
No, not me, not this Republican. Look here, I got the t-shirt.
See now, Duke, nobody can surprise you and do a gotcha and pull up pictures from Facebook and say, oh look, Duke was supporting Bill Cassidy. Duke is owning it. I'm proud of you, Duke.
He's pro Bill Cassidy. I've got somebody standing at the front door looking down the street, making sure when, the pitchforks are coming to my house. They're ready.
If they do, just take some marshmallows out, and with their torches, and y'all can roast marshmallows. So here's my point of this, everybody, is I don't agree with Bill Cassidy, and I don't agree with Cassidy on a few other things, but the truth is, as a former member of the Bossier Republican PEC, and I've been involved in a lot of political things in the past, I have done some things to help support Cassidy in a very small way. My point is, I own up to that. I'm not trying to run from it, but that doesn't mean that I agree with his vote yesterday. So that's my point. His big mistake will be if he votes for conviction. And then I think the pitchforks will start running and the torches.
Well, I'm going to take issue with you a little bit on it. I think that he has another motive. And this goes to politics in general and the people that go to D.C. And we all know it. We all feel it. We all sense it. They lose touch with, the Rex Moncriefs of the world, or well, maybe that's a bad example. They lose they lose touch with us. Look, you get accustomed to the fine dining, and look, Washington D.C. it's a great place to visit. You can't go there without getting a feeling of prestige for the country and the history. And when you live a life up there of eating these fine meals a lot of the nights and
Right.
everybody, catering to you and all that, you become a part of the system and you forget why would you want to come back here to little old Louisiana?
Yeah. What's that old saying? Let them eat cake.
So, you know what I think?
Give it to me.
I think he may be trying to sue for a job.
No.
I'm throwing out a hypothesis there that
Wow.
maybe
You mean,
maybe he's looking for an appointment in a Biden administration. Maybe he's smarter than all of us, and I'm not going to take anything away from Bill. I mean, I held a get together for the man, but and he is intelligent. I'm going to tell you, he's as smart as they come. Maybe he realizes that Republicans are never going to win another race.
wait a minute. You're telling me that he ran for U.S. Senator, got elected, not because he was doing it just on principle. He's doing it for the benefit of, well, maybe himself.
Isn't that what a lot of
That kind of where you're steering this
do?
conversation?
Well, do politicians do that?
Well, I can think of one group of politicians that are within 10 miles of us right now that tend to do that, but that's a whole other conversation we may not want to get into again tonight.
It is a whole lot of other comments. Well, we want to give Bill Cassidy a break right now, and we can come back to him later.
Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, let's.
Yeah, the folks watching our show, I mean, we did have a little bit of other stuff to kind of delve off into, right?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. As a matter of fact, we're at 49 viewers right now. I think that's a record, except maybe with the Robert Mills interview, we might have been close. So that's kind of cool. And I just put a comment up telling everybody, hey, we're going to get to the planes dealing stuff in just a bit, just to let all the new viewers know where we're headed. Yeah. All right, so do you want me to touch on the Cypress District for a minute?
Yeah, we need to give some folks. There's been a little bit that's happened there. It was brief, I understand, but
yeah, watch your clock, because as you know, I can stay on this soapbox literally all night. So cut me off in like 2 or 3 minutes. All right, so first thing is I published under Bossier Watch, of course, the 2020 final P&Ls. Lots of interesting numbers in there. One, they spent $247,000 some odd dollars in 2020 on legal fees. And Mark Smith, our anonymous profile poster, did post some interesting information that, oh yeah, people like us doing all these information requests or what are driving up the legal fees. I mean, shame on us tax-paying citizens that we actually want to see the info.
I said it in a previous show that it was your fault, and see there, that's confirmation. Somebody else agrees with me.
But wait a minute, it's not just me. I mean, look, I hate to say it, Skylar Marvin bears some blame in this. They filed a lawsuit against Robert Berry. That wasn't cheap because Berry was getting help from the Cypress District's attorneys.
Yeah, but that's only because the Attorney General who is unbiased in the whole thing and doesn't know any of the players, read the law and took the position that, yeah, he's violating the law. Yeah, that's the way I read it.
Wait, so by extension, you're saying that Mark Smith is saying that the Attorney General was running up the legal costs of the Cypress District, just apparently for no reason? I don't know.
Well, I don't know if he was saying that, but what I was saying was he essentially blamed, well, what were the words he used? All of y'all or you or, I mean, I would assume that meant you.
Well, I get blamed for a lot of stuff, whether I actually do it or not. So anyway.
Well, that's good and bad.
You can go either way.
Whoever the anonymous Mark Smith is, and I'm guessing they either work in Benton or a law office in Shreveport, said it's your fault. I mean, I'm just speculating here.
It's always my fault. So I'm going to scan through some of these just real briefly. I'm not going to, bore everybody with it. But you can see right here that their total payroll, that's right here, under 2020, total payroll is $510,000. And that was actually an increase from 2019, but the park itself was mostly shut down for half the year. How did their payroll increase over last year? I mean, I know, Mark Smith, how it increased. I'm being facetious here. But how did their payroll increase when they had half the park shut down for nearly half the year? You would think, if you're running a business, I know this is a quasi-government bureaucratic agency, but if you were kind of trying to treat this at least a little bit like a business or a decent government agency, you would think that the payroll would actually drop. But, it is what it is.
Well, if I remember correctly, looking at them P&Ls, even security increased, right?
Yes. Let's see if I can find the security real quick. Yeah, here it is right here. Security nearly doubled. Almost doubled from last year. Again, the park was mostly shut down for approximately half the year. How did security increase? They even skipped the they had the December meeting, but they skipped January. But there was like hardly anybody at the December meeting, so they can't blame it on feeling threatened by all us taxpayers.
Did we have an invasion of squirrel hunters out there on the front?
I don't know what's going on, but this is insanity. And then let's see, what was the other biggest one? Well, there's the legal expense, just so you can see the actual number, $247,651.15. The Ayers Law Firm has to love all of us taxpayers. Shame on us. And the DA's office and the AG's office. I don't know, what else was there? Oh, the other big one, and yes, Mark Smith, I already know the answer to this. Again, sometimes I ask questions just so the questions are out there. But if you notice down here, this debt service payment row down here, notice that each year after the 2015 loan, so in the subsequent years, is around $300,000. And notice that in 2020 it's only $86,000, which means that they didn't make their principal payment on the $3 million loan that they used to do the bond issuance and get around the voters. And yes, it's probably because they talked to the trustee and had one of the payments deferred, arguably due to COVID, because businesses were hurt. But if you look at their income and look at their payroll, they didn't look like they were hurting much for paying employees. So they're actually $216,000 in the black. So the cynic in me would say that they didn't make that loan payment to make the financials end up looking better, especially after I started requesting the financials. But, who knows? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I think you're reading Mark Smith wrong. In fact, I read that post that he made, and I think he was trying to help out. In fact, he even gave some advice. He said, maybe you need to look at the check register, FOIA the check register. Remember?
Oh, yeah, but let me just, and he's correct, and I may end up doing that, but I've just requested at the meetings and otherwise just to get a detailed billing from the attorneys on how much they're spending on each case. Oh, well, we can't do that because we don't specify that out, and that's attorney-client privilege, which is a bunch of BS. So I think the chances of me getting the actual check registers, pretty slim. But without them throwing a bunch of static, and then I'd have to sue them to get it, and I don't know if it's worth all that. But you're right, he did bring a good point with that.
Well, so have we lost anybody on the Cypress thing yet?
Have we lost anybody?
Yeah, we're still holding steady. Everybody's still hanging in there with us.
Yeah.
They want some more Bill Cassidy, don't they?
Well, they do. So let's see. We're increasing. We're at 57 voters. So let me close with one last thing on the Cypress deal. That the Attorney General's office is not done. It is public record that they have indicated that they are absolutely going to appeal the decision from the district court here, or however that's going to work legally. So, the Ayers Law Firm is going to love us again, apparently, in 2021. Okay. Now, we've got a question here, a little bit of a segue. Brian Connell says, says, what has Robert Mills done for us? It's kind of a little tangent to what we've been talking about, but do we have a quick answer? Anything good, bad, indifferent?
Well, Robert, we invited him to come on the show here a while back, and he did come on, and he came on based off of some criticism that he had received, and he was responsive to it, and I appreciated him responding to it, and it came in regards to the governor and extending the COVID restrictions and the legislature's ability to override the governor. And he was kind of at the forefront on that. Okay. And I think there was a judicial ruling that ended up overruling I hate to say overruling the legislature on it, but I think that's how that panned out ultimately.
Yeah, in layman's terms, that's what happened, yeah.
Yeah, we may follow up with him on that. But I thought it was a good interview. I thought it was productive, and I thought he gave good responses.
Well, and look, I'll say this for him as well, and in full disclosure, I did not support Robert Mills during the District 36 Senate race. I, publicly supported Ryan Gaddy in that race, but I agree with you. He did a great interview, and is actually a pretty enjoyable guy in the interview. And I know he's got a little bit of goodwill going around Lake Bistineau with the Salvinia problem. Not that he's been able to help get really much done about it, because it's a pretty incredible problem, but he is at least definitely paying attention to it and responsive to people when they ask about it. And so he does have a little goodwill with that, so I gave him a few props for that.
I'll tell you, it would be an unenviable position to be in, to be not only a state senator, or a representative, and have to, and the thing is, it's going to have to come at some point, explain to your voters that there's no money left in the kitty to take care of problems.
Yeah,
Issues.
the Wildlife and Fisheries claims, and I believe that they're, broke or will be shortly, and they're supposed to go to the legislature in Baton Rouge sometime this spring and request like $20 or $25 million to stay afloat, because I forget when it was enacted. Was it during Jindal or Mike Foster's administration? The Wildlife and Fisheries no longer receives funding directly from the state. They're only funded by license fees and some oil and gas revenues, which have fallen off drastically. And so anyway, it's causing a problem. So, all right.
Yeah, it's a big old mess. But hey, I wanted to get to a subject, and for everybody watching, we're going to come back to Bill Cassidy and beat up on Bill some more. I mean, he put himself out there. He deserves it. We're going to pound away on that one, and maybe other people involved in that whole thing. Anyway, but Rex, I got a little information about some local stuff and not Bossier City.
Whoa. Well, that's a surprise.
It's another city in our parish.
And which one would that be?
So I've got it on good authority that we've got some shenanigans going on in one of our outlying cities.
Mm-hmm.
And the city government is kind of getting kind of squirrely out there, and we might need to talk about it a little bit.
Really? Now, I'm trying to think in Bossier Parish if we actually have another legit city. So this is really narrowing it down.
Well, let's talk about it. We've got Halton.
Well, that's true. And Halton's growing like gangbusters.
Growing like gangbusters, but it's not Halton. That's
yeah, the burn chamber's out of the way of that. So yeah, they're out of the limelight for now.
Got that behind us. No jobs there.
One day we'll have to go back to that subject. But anyway, okay, so keep going. So we know it's not Halton.
Not Halton. So I guess we can't go east. Is there? There's not actually a city south, is there?
Not.
It only leaves one more.
Yeah, we have to go north.
Plain dealing.
Oh, we're going even more north.
Yeah, plain dealing, baby.
So what could be going on that's controversial in the good old little sleepy town of Plain Dealing? I've driven through there many times.
A lot of our viewers and yourself may not have paid attention to what has been going on Plain Dealing, and they need to understand there's a lot of things happening up there.
Mm-hmm.
But to kind of bring everyone up to speed, you had a recent election to where they elected a new mayor. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that new mayor is the wife of the elected police chief.
Okay. So to be clear, in some towns or cities, the police chief is appointed by the mayor, or maybe in some by the city council, or whatever the deal is. But in Plain Dealing, they elect both the mayor and the police chief, and the mayor is the wife of the police chief.
That's correct.
That really, it doesn't seem so bad. It's a small town, nice little town, but not a great big deal. So what could be wrong with that?
I can see that being okay, that there might not would be any problems. I can see that it could work.
Right.
You would have to have high ethical standards, and
sure.
You're going to face questions, and you're going to be faced with some dilemmas that you're going to have your heartstrings pulled a little bit, and you're going to have to object to each other.
Right.
It would be a tough thing, but as I understand it, there may be some problems up there.
as plain dealing turns? I mean, is this a soap opera kind of thing? I mean,
Well, I have it on good authority
mm-hmm.
that there happened to be a council meeting, in the last couple of days up there.
Right, okay.
And apparently, a council member, an elected council member, asked the police chief a question.
I mean, what could be wrong with that?
A councilman asking questions of city department heads. I mean, that
Yeah, how
seems
many,
like
what they ask him? How many speeding tickets they've written lately? And by the way, don't speed through plain dealing.
it's my understanding. Well, that's a sore subject too, right there, Rex. I'm sorry. Apparently, a question was asked, something to the effect of, "What was the status of crime in plain dealing?"
Okay.
Is that
Other
a fair
than,
question?
well, yeah, it's a fair question, but I mean, other than maybe somebody's dog getting loose or, somebody running deer on other property, but that wouldn't be in the city limits anyway. I mean, or running a red light. I mean, what's wrong with asking about the crime? I mean, it should be a really short answer. Crime is pretty low in plain dealing.
I mean, if I was a police chief and they asked me that question, I mean, if crime was high, I would say, look, it's not where we would want it to be, but we're working on it and we hope to make some improvements. I mean,
Yeah, I
be
mean, short and
an easy
sweet.
question.
Yeah.
That's not like a trick question. That's not anything.
But it sounds to me like you're leading up to the answer wasn't what it would seem.
Apparently, that was not the kind of answer that was given. Apparently, the answer was something to the effect of, to the councilman, "It's none of your business.
Huh.
I'm the police chief," and basically stick a sock in it.
Really? Nah. Okay. That sounds like, oh, there's our buddy Barry Butler. Good evening, Mr. Butler. That sounds like something a sheriff might say. As a matter of fact, I can think of one sheriff that's not too far away that's kind of sort of said some stuff. Not exactly necessarily that, but, the sheriff is an elected official, so that sounds like something a sheriff of the whole parish would say. Not the police chief. What was the deal? Do we know?
Well, the sheriff isn't really accountable to a mayor and a city council.
Right. But he might be asked to come speak to the city council about assisting with the ridiculously high crime rate, such as maybe in a place, I'm not naming names, but maybe Shreveport.
Yeah, but no sheriff. A sheriff, the highest elected official, I think, in the parish. I mean,
And
no
he's a tax
sheriff,
collector,
he's not going to make "it's none of your business."
No, most of them be cordial and say, well, we're doing this to help assist with crime in the outlying area. Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, do we know what the deal is? Anybody that's watching from Plain Dealing, comment, and I'll put the comments on the screen. I mean, what's going on?
Apparently this chief has been the chief for about 8 years or something like that, and crime has apparently increased, so I'm told, exponentially up there.
Now, is this the same chief that was
Same
reelected,
chief.
or this is a new chief?
No, same chief
Okay,
got
okay.
reelected, but this time around he ran his wife as the mayor, or she was ran, or he ran. I don't know, so I'm told. But now you got a family affair, and I guess accountability is out the window. And as I'm told, a citizen was supposedly at the meeting and asked a question of this same chief, and more or less the chief basically said, "You're an idiot," and didn't even acknowledge the lady.
I mean,
They evolved into a rambunctious affair, so I understand.
did the police chief and the mayor have a fight over breakfast that morning and they just took it into the city council meeting, or he just said the heck? I guess if he's elected, he's got a point. He doesn't really answer to him.
Well, I don't think, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but I don't think the mayor really held the police chief accountable as to a report on what the crime was. So I guess if the police chief up there says crime exists or doesn't exist, then It's whatever he says, whether it is or it isn't.
Well, Terry Adams commented again and said, based on what I witnessed last night, it's a recipe for disaster. And it looks like we have the village idiot here. Not my words, Lizette's words. And Lizette, I hope I said your name correctly. So, all right. So did they like this devolve into a shouting match or a fist fight or anything like that?
Okay. I'm just telling you secondhand information that I picked up from a source that told me that they have got some shenanigans going on up there.
Interesting. It sounds like we might need to go to some of the plain dealing town council or city council meetings, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, because they've got some fireworks happening up there. It almost reminds you of a Cypress Black Bayou meeting.
Unaccountable people. It's funny how they change once a camera gets there.
Cameras do some amazing things.
We got a comment from Debbie Rogers Bryant. Debbie, I'll assume that you were at the meeting. She said, shouting match for sure. Lizette said, oh, that would be awesome. I would assume about videoing some of the meetings. Bring a camera crew. Well, all right, so Lizette, here's the problem with the whole camera crew. You'll get nobody to say anything. When little me shows up with an iPhone and we video the meetings and then I do my little thing with the editing and all that, we can get a lot accomplished. People aren't quite as intimidated by an iPhone as there are a whole KTBS crew, and KTBS would just edit it down to, 30-second sound bites. So, oh, this is interesting. Let's see here. Kim Holt Allen says, we have had 3 murders within months of each other. Wow.
In plain dealing?
Kim, you want to comment on that? So let me verify. Y'all have had 3 murders in plain dealing in the last several months. Is that correct? Wow. They're on track. I guess if you did it by scale, they're on track with Shreveport.
Well, that would, the sheriff's office, you would think would have something going on up there or have a role.
Well, I mean, you know how that deal is. The sheriff's department doesn't necessarily like to encroach on, the city or town PD unless it's absolutely necessary. I mean, they can. They have the legal authority to do it, but, it's always kind of I hate to say, but gentleman's agreement, or whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
Let's see. Yeah,
all right. Within one.
Yeah, so she clarified with this, said last year, so apparently, 3 murders last year within months of each other, so maybe that's why the police chief didn't want to talk about crime. That's pretty serious. I mean, running red lights and writing some speeding tickets, maybe even a little dope smoking is one thing, but 3 murders is different.
Well, you said that, and while I'm not exactly into, and I don't agree with, police departments or sheriff's departments trying to monetize or to fund their departments by virtue of writing tickets.
Right.
It was conveyed to me that fees based off of ticketing and such up there in plain dealing has dropped exponentially.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that is a result of maybe favors, or I'm not saying it is. I don't know, but I'm just saying it begs the question. Why would numbers change?
Yeah, it's interesting, and the amount of change, or the rate of the change would be also very interesting. Terry Norris said nobody's able to do conflict resolution, so just kill each other. Yeah, population control. Wait a minute, let's see. So Kim Holt Allen said the marshal called my husband a smartass. Well, and so then I suppose this is Kim's husband, Larry, here says I'm the smartass. Hey, Larry, join the club. I get called a smartass all the time. I wear it as a badge of honor.
Well, that seems pretty weak. I've heard you called a lot worse things than that.
Yeah, I get called a lot worse pretty much every day. But anyway, it is what it is. So, we're up to 60 people too, by the way. So, all right, let me do this for the audience. All right, so everybody from Plain Dealing, if you're here, tag some more friends, and y'all throw some comments because I'm completely blind. Duke mentioned something about Plain Dealing and some issues for the show this evening, but other than that, we're both kind of in the dark on this. So, let us know. One more from Terry Adams, and then I'll not interrupt you anymore, Duke. Terry said it's a sad state. Seems the council and mayor, like the people, want the town to profess, maybe progress in a productive manner, but the chief seems to be worried about something.
Huh. I don't know, just like I said, I had a source that conveyed some information to me, about some of the things going on up there, and was, more or less kind of asking us to kind of delve off into things up there. And, one of the other concerns that was brought up, and I was reluctant to bring this up, but I think it needs to be said, that apparently the city has a sex offender working in the water department, checking meters.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, how does he get around the sex offender? Well, I guess that the sex offender registry deal is where he or she, it could be either one, I guess, I don't know, would live. They've got to make sure they're registered there.
Yeah, and look, I mean, if a person is convicted of a crime and pays their dues or whatever, should they get an opportunity to turn their life around and get right? Yeah, absolutely. I don't know the answer to that question and that up there and how that works. I'm not making a judgment on it, but what I am saying is that is an expressed concern from someone who shared the information about what's going on up there.
Yeah, and again, I'm the whole sex offender thing, I don't want, guys out there or women in ice cream trucks, trying to pick up little kids, certainly, or anything like that. But we also all know that, sometimes it could be a situation where, they're 16, 17, 17, 18 or whatever, and then they're a sex offender. So I'll give that person the benefit of the doubt only because we don't really know, but it's something we might want to look into. Larry Allen says we need background checks. Yeah.
Now, I got to go back a second. Have you actually ever seen a female ice cream salesman?
No, but I'm trying to be nice. They're the school teachers. I was trying to be nice.
I'm not being sexist. I could not, but I'm just trying to think. Even as a kid, I don't recall ever seeing a female ice cream truck. I'm thinking about it coming down the street as a kid, and I could hear it in the distance, and it's always some guy.
It's always a guy. Now, I have seen a husband and wife team doing it. Now, I will say that. I've seen a husband and wife team.
Fair enough.
So, let's see. Oh, wait. We've got some good juice here. Wow. Hold on. Let me scroll back up here. These are great. So, Debbie says, during the midst of the shouting match, the wife, Mayor, is banging her gavel saying you're being disrespectful to a law enforcement officer. What a show. Go figure. No, that's not an ice cream truck either. Okay, that's a little food truck. Okay.
It sure looks like an ice cream truck.
Just making sure. We're just messing with you, Debbie. So let's see. Larry said we need the background checks. Oh, this is interesting.
So the mayor, based off of that comment, the mayor was clearly defending her husband, the police chief.
Correct. And again, we're doing this by hearsay, not there at the meeting. But yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Instead of making an executive decision and removing the feelings and family and whatever you want to call it out of it, and either asking the police chief to, produce the information in a reasonable manner when possible or whatever. Yeah, it sounds like she was defending her husband, not necessarily the police chief. Interesting. So Lisa says fines and tickets went from $80,000 under the previous marshal to approximately $5,000 annually under the present marshal. Well, I got to say, as somebody who drives through there sometimes, I'm glad they're writing less speeding tickets is all I'm going to say. But I get your point, Lisa. Absolutely interesting.
I have to, I got to play devil's advocate here. I'm wondering, I go
to
the five all the time.
Yeah.
$80,000 in tickets? Is that a speed trap up there?
Well, look, I used to, I'm from Ruston, or grew up half my life in Ruston. My family on my dad's side's been there since the 1800s, all that good stuff. The town of Dubach, which is 13 miles north of Ruston, 80,000's a drop in the bucket to what they did. You're so proud of Bill Cassidy's shirt,
Just
aren't
want to
you?
make sure everybody can see my Bill Cassidy t-shirt.
It does look nice on you. I expect you to do the water boy guy here in a minute and, you know, kind of get a little risque, but anyway.
Not happening.
Let's see. Here, this is, wow. Randy Hayes was told he was yelling, and he never yells, and the mayor almost beat a hole on the desk telling him to stop. The chief of police was yelling, can't make the separation between job and marriage. We've got a regular Jerry Springer show going on up there.
We might need to be up there at their next meetings.
Yeah, folks, y'all need to stay on top of this. Remind us, let Duke know, let me know, reach out, you know, send the page a message, whatever you want to do. Use our email addresses, which are listed, bossierwatch@gmail.com or bossierwatch@protonmail.com. If you want to be completely anonymous, make you a free Proton Mail account, completely free. Don't, you know, make it where there's no way we could guess who you are, and send an email to bossierwatch@protonmail. And it'll be completely anonymous. We'll be glad to look into anything. And yeah, it sounds like we need to show up to the next Jerry Springer episode.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it.
And here, Tim Cannon says, the biggest disruption, second Tuesday of every month. All right, so we need to put that on our calendars. Tim Cannon says the biggest disruption was caused by the mayor and the police chief, and it's not the first time.
I wonder what the deal is here. I mean, it was indicated that, I mean, obviously if the marshal, I guess, is not the chief. I mean, I guess it's the marshal. If the marshal there has been, you know, elected before and he's kind of been around a little bit, you would think that he's seasoned. And the mayor being a first time around, you know, I wonder about her experience. And, you know, it would almost seem to me that she's not in control of the meetings and is not exercising good judgment in facilitating the meetings for the city of Plain Dealing.
We need to go and find this out. So first off, I know is it the Outpost or that little gas station and store right there? They've got.
Yeah, it used to be part of the relay stations.
Yeah, I think, don't they still serve pretty good hamburgers and stuff like that up there? Oh, and I know that little Mexican restaurant right there on just the north side of the red light on the right. That little Mexican restaurant is phenomenal. What we need to do is we need to go to the next meeting, and then we can go eat.
I just got a anonymous message that said something. I'll just read it. One of the police officers in Plain Dealing was fired from the Spring Hill Police Department before he was hired on Plain Dealing for video chatting with a mentally challenged girl while he was in uniform, and something else, but I'm not going to say that on the video. Say that on while we're live.
Yeah, something is going on in that town, and you know, the truth is, it's not uncommon for local police officers to, you know, move from small town to small town, maybe depending on what's going on. But it sounds like something crazy is going on in the little sleepy nice town of Plain Dealing.
You know, and I would say that it sounds like to me that the folks up there are wanting some help up there and wanting to get something done. The way this outcry is, I would find it hard to believe that there hasn't been an outcry already. How is it that they're up here on Bossier Watch?
Yeah, well, again, I'll just reiterate that if we or me or you showed up and do a little video of this, it's amazing how A, the word will get out even more, and B, things will at least start to change for the better or the worse. It could go either way, as in the Cypress District kind of thing. But anyway, sounds like we need to plan.
Citizens of Plain Dealing deserve it as much as anybody else.
Yeah, we need to find. You know what we need to do? We've got an extended squirrel season this year or something, don't we? When's squirrel season in this year? You know what we could do? We could drive up to Lake Erling and go fishing up there, and then come back and go to the Plain Dealing City Council meeting, take some popcorn, and watch the Jerry Springer show going on, and video it, and then post it on Bossier Watch.
We could do something along those lines. I've got a better idea, but not one that I'll share online right here. We'll have to be stealthy about this one.
Okay, let's see. Somebody says, okay, let's post a few more comments here. Shanithia Gay, I hope I'm saying that correct. Who is the sex offender? I would like to know because it's only 4 guys that work in that department. Well, I can tell you, they're supposed to register as a sex offender, and the Bossier Sheriff's Office will send notifications around via email, maybe text message too, I'm not really sure, but you can sign up for the deal. In theory, that person should be registered as a sex offender for that area. And again, I'm not one, people to get pitchforks and torches out to the person, but it's the law and it's public information. So yeah, good question there, Shanita.
And I have no idea who. I don't know the name.
Right. Let's see. Here's some more. This is so Kim says another comment says I walked back into the building after the meeting to talk to attorney, and Marshall screamed for me to get out of a public meeting. Maybe we need to educate them on public meetings laws.
Wow. So the marshal is running the meeting of the town?
That's what it sounds like. Kim, give us a little more information there. She said, well, she did say another comment, I love my town, just want peace. I agree, Kim. It should be fairly straightforward. Let's see, Larry Adams, we'd have to charge you admission, Rex. Yeah, probably so. I'll bring some popcorn, though. Oh, yeah, now see, now we're getting somewhere. So Terry Adams posted, yeah, come on, y'all. Y'all can hang out on my dock on Lake Erling. See there, we're making progress already.
Well, how about that? We're landing in the lap of luxury with the rich and famous there.
Absolutely. I've already got my Arkansas fishing license. I'm good to go. And then Shanithia Gay said, it's a wonderful town. I'm sure it is, just a little bit of time I've spent up there. But even small, nice, wonderful little towns sometimes have problems, so.
I've got some friends in Plain Dealing, and there's some good people up there, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is a reflection of the town of Plain Dealing. I mean, every town has problems, and
it does.
You just have to work through them.
All I can tell everybody, and we'll kind of start wrapping it up here in a little bit because we're at 51 minutes, but, keep getting the word out, folks. We don't want to try to slam anybody, but those are public meetings. They're publicly elected officials. They're paid for. Their salaries and per diems or whatever they get are all paid for by tax dollars. So it's absolutely everybody's business what is going on with the public dollars and the things that affect the town. That's not out of bounds. Those are all valid questions and concerns everybody has.
From Bill Cassidy as a U.S. Senator in Washington, D.C., to the marshal of the town of Plain Dealing. They are funded by your tax dollars, and they should be accountable to you, and they should be available, to answer any questions and answer for their actions.
Yeah.
They work for you. You do not work for them.
That is correct. Now, Gayla says, thank you, Duke. Let's see. Now, I've also got to so let's give a counter argument here. So this is Tammy Jackson. Let me add this in. Tammy Jackson says, I love when all these people complain, and the one meeting I went to, the people reporting were the ones yelling. So, that's like the scene you get 5 different people witness it and sometimes 5 different answers. This could be interesting.
And you see, there you go. That is the other side of the story, and that's why you have debate and you talk about things, because people have differing opinions on things, and you just have to put it all out there. And while we may not agree, having the debate and talking through the issues makes us all better. As the saying goes, as one of our favorite politicians would say, iron sharpens iron.
Yes, absolutely. And look, Tammy, well, let's see. Debbie says, Tammy, that's incorrect. Tammy says it's true. All right, so here's the deal, folks. Transparency is the key. If we go video, or everybody has a smartphone, go shoot the video. Stand there and hold your phone still. Turn it sideways, long ways. It makes it better for this kind of video. But then we'll actually get to see what is the real truth, because it's a public meeting. Anybody can record the audio, or anybody can record the video completely legally. No questions asked. You just can't be in the way of the process. Can't be in the way of the process of the meeting or interrupt the meeting if you're going to be recording the meeting. So just some guidelines. But anyway.
So did we not have anybody really comment on Bill Cassidy? They don't like my shirt.
I think the Plain Dealing folks are more worried about plain dealing.
Yeah.
You got to remember, we're have a little skewed perspective because we're highly involved in this and everything we see is political. You got to remember that. I would venture to say a good portion of the parish right now and the state may not know what Bill Cassidy has or hadn't done. I'm not saying a majority, I'm just saying a sizable percentage probably have no idea if you asked them.
Yeah. Well, I suspect Bill Cassidy's going to have some rough days ahead.
Uh-oh, wait, we got a good question here.
Especially if I have anything to do with it.
Yeah, he got to pay for his raisins, so to speak. Mr. Moncrief and Mr. Lowry, and I appreciate the politeness calling me Mr. That's odd. How
Me
did
too.
plain dealing become the topic of your show tonight? Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I didn't see that name. You took it down, but that's okay. Well, obviously, we've got an anonymous report from some folks from up in Plain Dealing that brought to our attention. Michelle Waller, I'm not even going to try because you'll be mad at me.
Michelle?
But Michelle, anonymous report from some events that have been taking place up there at your meeting. That is how you become a topic of this show tonight. And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the comments are still pouring in. Here's another one from Debbie. We have had 2 meetings with the new administration. The first meeting was a total bleep show. I think that one may have been recorded. We need to do an information request and see if we can get that recording, because if they did record it, they have to release it publicly if you request it.
Yeah, perhaps we need to start doing some FOIAs up there.
Interesting one. Tim Cannon. There's no talking to the police chief. He doesn't listen to anyone at all unless he is in his little clique. We got to get up there, Duke.
So you got somebody who's unaccountable to the public.
Yeah, it's worth taking a look and seeing if it's true.
Isn't that interesting? It seems like that's a broken record. We've heard that before.
More than once. Okay. Do we have any other topics or anything we want to circle back to?
No, I think we've about beat a dead horse. I'd love to talk about and beat up on Bill Cassidy some more. He deserves it.
Yeah, that's an easy target. We may have to have a little short show between the next long one. And we'll wait and see kind of how this little charade in the Senate's going, and maybe we'll have some more topics about that. All the plain dealing folks, and Duke, thanks for receiving the information and bringing this up so we could have it on the show. And to everybody watching, make sure if you hadn't already, like and subscribe, and then click on the notifications tab so you get notifications when we go live. And feel free to comment, tag your friends and all that kind of stuff. This is what we're here for, other than Duke's, invisible hat, is to share information that is brought to us or that we find out about with everybody, mainly centered around Bossier City and Bossier Parish and the surrounding area. That's what we're here for. So, hey, I appreciate everybody joining. We're still at 64 people watching.
Wow, they must want to listen to you talk some more.
I doubt that. I'm sure they're tired of hearing it already. And one other thing, everybody. If you want to email us anonymously, completely, go to protonmail.com. It's completely free. It's completely encrypted, by the way. Make an email account, something not even related to your name or anything. Send us an email to bossierwatch@protonmail.com. It's completely anonymous then, and we will absolutely look into it, or if we think it's valid, share the information out.
Well, another good show. I appreciate it, Rex, and everybody watching. We appreciate it, and be sure and share and send us that information. We'll put it out there. We're not scared.
Absolutely. See you later, Mr. Duke Lowry.
Good night, Rex Moncrief.